All right, friends, man, it's T-Man. We're back with the Bumbaclot himself, the Butty Boy, JasonBlaha, Strength and Fitness. Yes, the gym, lifting, recruiting, gear, fitness slave himself, JasonBlaha. We're going to do a reaction video to him again today. Jesus. So Blaha says people can get amazing gains training 3 days a week. You can get amazing gains training 7 days a week if you want, providing you're doing something specific. But what kind of gains are they? There's artificial and then there's real gains. But you're not going to get myofibular gains if you're training 3 days a week. You'll get sarcoplasmic gains because you are an endurance athlete now. An endurance lifter.
Let's talk about lifting 3 days a week. Hey everybody, it's JasonBlaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And I don't want to sound hypocritical here because I currently do a 5-day bodybuilding and power building split. But
5 days a week he's lifting. How many people you know in the factory that are lifting 7 days a week, getting massive? And they're actually working 2 extra days. They only have to work 5 days. Some people go and work 7 days a week now. How many of them you know growing, lifting stuff all day at the factory for 6 hours a day?
I want to be clear on this. I literally do that only because I need to really continue to enhance my physique significantly.
Now, let's get one thing straight, man. Muscles protect themselves, adapt by protecting themselves from any more damage. And if you're not getting damaged, you're not growing any muscles. It's really simple. Not myofibular growth, that's for sure. But you can grow sarcoplasmic, and you can get rapidly big fast with sarcoplasmic hypertrophy because it is not subject to the myostatin, follistatin, or myonuclear domain, or a satellite cell, or any of these things that prevent it from growing.
For business purposes and for social media outreach. So I want to be clear on that. I am literally doing that.
Look, if muscles were to get damaged, they can only get damaged once in an adaptation. And then, and only then, they need to go through a repair and a remodeling. So you're going to come in 3 days a week after you got damaged? Let's just say you got an adaptation, you got damage. Let's say you actually damaged these muscle fibers, okay? You're going to come in 3 days a week? What? They're damaged. You got micro injuries. You've injured your muscle fibers. They're damaged. They've been split apart. There's dead tissue there. They're bleeding inside. You understand me? So you're going to keep continuously working out on them? Is that it? That's the most crazy thing retarded thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
To pursue 1% more gains.
They'll shrink and go away. Then you'll have some serious problems.
I have multiple clients who, due to their busy lifestyles, okay, they only train 3 days a week for an hour.
But what are they training for? To do what? Because they want to train? Because they want to be a lifting slave, to come into the gym and keep lifting for no reason? You're not building any muscle. Muscle has a myonuclear domain. Get it? It's protected also by nuclear domain. Man, it's protected by repeated butt effect, a whole bunch of things, follistatin, myostatin, satellite cell, and all these kind of things, okay? And the fact that myonuclei are post-mitotic. The nuclei do not split just because you're training 3 days a week. Myonuclei are post-mitotic. Christ, man. Without more nuclei, you can't support further muscle growth. It's reached the ceiling limit. Look, myonuclei...
According to Oxford Academic, Oxford University Press, the general consensus in the skeletal muscle research field is that upon terminal differentiation, myonuclei enter into a permanent postmeiotic state and are no longer able to replicate their DNA.
Because they're post-mitotic. You can read it in NCBI. They tell you here, post-mitotic, whatever, down here somewhere. You can read about it. Myonuclei. They're post-mitotic. It's in this one too as well. Once differentiation has occurred, the cells do not divide, and the nuclei never again replicate their DNA. That's the one that people never understand. It's hard for people to understand this. I understand this. I should post this in my community section. People can really get into more depth here. Are nuclei post-mitotic? Skeletal muscle research field generally accepts that nuclei and skeletal muscle fibers, i.e. myonuclei, are post-mitotic and unable to proliferate. They're unable. You understand me? They have to be donated by the satellite cell, but they're not anymore. Because once differentiation has occurred, the cells do not divide and the nuclei never again replicate their DNA. It only ever happens in an adaptation. You can read this whole thing if you want. It's here. Look at this. It's this whole section here. The term muscle covers the multitude of cell types, yada, 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 yada. Skeletal muscle cells. It tells you how it fuses and stuff. Myoblasts. So yeah, skeletal muscle fibers. Okay, myostatin. So myoblasts. And then there's a summary here. You can read this for yourself. It's in this section called Genesis, Modulation, Regeneration of Skeletal Muscle. So they always cite here by B. Alberts, 2002, cited by 43. Once differentiation has occurred, the cells, so they proliferate, but they differentiate only when muscle cells are injured, when the muscle fibers are damaged. But it happens only in an adaptation. The cells do not divide, and the nuclei never again replicate their DNA. And why don't they ever again replicate their DNA once differentiation has occurred? You want to know why? Because they reached the ceiling limit, broski. Look, I'll read. Hold on.
According to Singapore Medical Journal,
Minuclear domain size limit. MNE size has a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process beyond which extra myonuclei are donated by satellite cell to support further muscle growth. See that? Like it was telling you there. So there's so many things that you don't understand about bodybuilding. He doesn't understand anything about bodybuilding.
Who have phenomenal strength, great physiques, and in fact,
they have phenomenal lifts. That's what they have. Practiced lifts. They're practicing. It's an adaptation in lifting.
For my busy people, that is baseline. So when I get clients who come to me and go, hey, my goal is to, you know.
The only thing you can get is fat. Ask these power lifters. Listen, ask these strongmen. They say they carry a lot of fat. It makes them fucking strong. Ask that guy Hooper. He'll listen to his new video. We get fat. We love getting fat, big and fat, because weight carries weight. Get it? Weight carries weight. Now, I'm not saying that if you carry an additional 200 pounds on your frame of fat, that doesn't mean that you can't further that domain. It'll be forced to a bit because it has to carry all that weight, 200 pounds. Hello? But are you going to do that? You want to get fat? You want to get fat to 500 pounds just so you could gain maybe, I don't know, maybe if you're lucky, 50 pounds of muscle to carry 500 pounds? Come on, man.
So when I get clients who come to me and go, hey, my goal is to, you know, kind of have the sort of base strength you talk about, and even if they're a little older, you know, so like that 315, 405, 500 pound standard I have, so 3, 4, 5.
He's never growing. He's just wasting his time. As usual, man. I know people get unlocked me, bro. They hate my channel. They hate me because I'm telling the truth. People get stoned for telling the truth. They get crucified in this world. Get it?
Bench who, you know, want to have visible abs, all that stuff. That's actually, but they're really busy. That's actually,
yeah, you can get visible abs. You can lose weight, get skinny. That's easy.
Actually how we train. I have found that works great. And no, people don't need large volumes. If we can get in, I can literally get people jacked in an hour 3 times a week. And this is where I laugh at so many of the evidence-based guys who are pushing people with suboptimal work to crazy volumes, when the fact of the matter is people can get almost optimal results doing what I just described. And in fact, I will eventually, and I've realized this for a long.
His training is high volume. This would be considered high volume. Anything more than lifting once a week is considered high volume. And what do you get when you do high volume training? That's pretty simple too. So what do you get when you're high volume training all the time, coming in even 3 days a week or whatever, 4 days, 5, 6 days? Muscle fiber hypertrophy in response to 6 weeks of high volume resistance training. When they say high volume resistance training, you have to understand what exactly they're talking about. High volume. High volume resistance training could mean you're coming in often for 6 weeks straight. You're coming in often every week, couple of days a week. That's high volume. Resistance training in trained young men is largely attributed to sarcoplasmic. Why? Because you are now an endurance athlete. That is glycogen loading. Get it? That's not based on muscle damage. Look.
According to Nuvo Vivo, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is a kind of artificial muscle growth wherein muscles increase its size visually by increasing the amount of fluid it can hold, but is not increasing the density of the muscle's fibers. According to Medical News Today, muscular hypertrophy, or muscle growth, refers to an increase in muscle mass. There are 2 types of muscular hypertrophy: myofibrillar, which is an increase in myofibrils, and sarcoplasmic, which is an increase in muscle glycogen storage.
See, muscle glycogen storage. There are 2 types of building muscles. When you become an endurance athlete, you get sarcoplasmic coming in often. When you are adapted and lifting, you are now a lifting slave, okay, man? You're an endurance athlete. Now, as a bodybuilder, your job is not to be an endurance athlete. Your job is to seek out certain things, okay? Like
According to J-Stage, exercise-induced muscle damage, EIMD, is a well-known phenomenon that happens after performing lengthening contractions or unaccustomed exercise. Many studies have tried to reduce this muscle damage, yet muscle damage is also known to produce a protective effect against future damaging exercise bouts.
Yeah, it produces a protective effect against future damaging exercise bouts because it repaired and remodeled stronger. It's now stronger. It's resilient from further assaults. But our job is, as bodybuilders, we want to do unaccustomed exercises. Get it? But as an athlete,
according to Physiopedia, exercise-induced muscle damage. This often occurs when an athlete participates in a new or unfamiliar exercise, when learning new techniques, or experiences an increase in the volume or intensity of exercise. This can lead to short-term performance decrements due to changes in the makeup of the muscles.
Right. That's the whole point. As a bodybuilder, that's what you want to do. You want to do unfamiliar exercises, and you want to learn new techniques and or experiences and an increase in the volume of intensity of the exercises. That's about it. So you can get some more adaptations. It's not, I have to fool the body. I'm going to go there and I'll fool the body and fool the body. Yeah, you have to go there. It's not about fooling the body. It's about going and doing unaccustomed exercises so you can get this damage to come back so you can grow muscle, real myofibrillar, which is astronomically difficult and high to do. So yeah, man, I don't know. They tell you there's so many things here. Exercise-induced muscle damage, PubMed. I think I just posted that one. I just posted that one. It's in my community section. You could go check it out, man. So anyways, okay, I'm going to go back to the video because I don't waste my time here anymore because, you know, I just do this for people that are going to bother me, that's all.
Long time. I will eventually go to that. Like I've already written kind of like an overall plan for myself, stuff with my own life, my own little vision board. And
you can write a million plans. That's not bodybuilding.
And in that, I've realized I will at some point go to like a 3-day squat, bench, deadlift, or a push-pull legs type power building program. Okay, and it would literally be 6 sets of muscle group. And not the 6 sets like I even do it now to where, oh, let's come in and do, after overhead press, 9 different delt movements. I'll probably eventually just throw delts in on my pull day for laterals, like just 3 sets of laterals and then do overhead pressing on the chest and tricep day. Okay, that's probably what I would do. And because I have clients who train that way. So, and that's something that I pointed out before too, and I've said this for many, many years. When I was younger, the guy that I knew in my area who had the absolute best physique in the gym, and I was in my earlier 20s, the guy was a little over 40, early 40s, lean, about 210. But leaner and a bit more jacked than I am right now. Definitely leaner. Okay?
What is he talking about? People now? More jacked than him?
Maintained abs year round. The guy trained like...
They're phonily jacked. Phony jacked. That's what they are. Okay? I know this from experience tells me that. Because I have enough experience. I understand bodybuilding. But if you don't have experience, if you're not an experienced lifter, then you don't understand any of this. This is like fucking Chinese to some people.
That. And I remember watching it. It was like 8 or 9 sets, 10 sets in a workout, and then he'd go walk on the treadmill and go home. His workouts were about 45 minutes.
Go look how much stuff I've brought up from NCBI. Go find a channel that explains it the way I do. Go find any channel out there. Even on my old channel, I explained a lot. But go try and find a channel that explains it the way I do. Go find it. Not one channel out there exists like mine, the way I explain it to you.
But they were intense. Well, what do I mean by that? The guy would come over and do heavy incline bench, and he would need a spotter because he would not be able to finish the last rep. And his top set...
He doesn't need a spotter. He doesn't need to finish the last rep. He doesn't need to do anything. Sometimes in the first bout, you already got damaged. That first set and rep that you did, let's say that was the first set you did. You had a scheme. You were going to do something. But you came in, you did something you're so unaccustomed to doing. Already that first rep of 10 reps, moving that weight, let's say for 12 repetitions, that first set, you may have already gotten damaged. Yeah, pretty much. But then you kind of try to hit it with the second bout. So with the second bout, you try to hit it. But now the repeated bout effect starts kicking in. It starts to protect from damage, from those muscles getting damaged. See what I mean? And so that's the repeated bout effect part. That one protects because it goes into type 1. It hides in there. It does a bunch of stuff. So it starts protecting the muscles from getting damaged. It does a bunch of stuff. It starts releasing chemicals. It starts hiding in type 1. It starts recruiting the type 1 instead of type 2 anymore. A whole bunch of things are going there. That's why it's so difficult to damage and even damage muscles anytime to damage them. Even getting an adaptation is really difficult. And then growing them, that takes a feat too as well. And I already told you it ended. Remember what I read to you? It's ended. It's ended. There's no more replication in DNA.
Go as heavy as 315 on the incline. Like, and he would train like that. I'd watch him. It would be a chest and tricep type day, right? The guy would come in. A chest and tricep type day, right? The guy would come in, and it would be incline bench, some pullovers, tricep extensions. Maybe he'd throw a second chest exercise in outside of the pullovers. Okay? It would be flies or a dumbbell press or something. But he would do 9 to 12 sets. That's it. Maybe some abs at the end. That was like his Monday. Then he goes walk on the treadmill. Come back Wednesday, and the guy would come in and do like stiff leg deadlift.
He would walk on the treadmill and for what reason? What's he trying to do with walking on the treadmill? What's that going to do?
Weighted pull-ups.
He's doing weighted pull-ups, crunches. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. What is the purpose behind it? It ain't going to build muscle. That doesn't build muscle. Muscles, they need to be damaged in a gym, and they can only ever be damaged when you're looking for new things to do there. Let's just put it that way. New adaptations.
Curls, maybe some belt exercise.
And even then, maybe you didn't strive hard enough to get enough damage, and so the body simply, it doesn't even do anything at that point. The damage has to be specific, has to be a lot. It has to last for the first 4 days, that soreness, that DOMS part. And it's still going through a repair and enrolling to the end of the week, providing you're in positive nitrogen balance, anabolic. You need to be in positive nitrogen balance. And I can't see how vegan diets can build any muscle at all. Unless, other than sarcoplasmic muscle, because they're in negative nitrogen balance, vegan diets, that's associated with catabolism. So if they did ever get damaged or an adaptation, they're actually losing muscle fibers now. But they can build a lot of the sarcoplasmic muscle like everybody else. That's why people say, well, how are vegans building muscles? They're not eating enough protein. You can eat protein to high heaven, bro. You're not building any muscles. Muscles have a nuclear domain size limit.
Now, he would rep out, 2 plates. He would rep 2 plates on the top sets, on those pull-ups.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He would rep them out. Sure he would, yeah.
Wasn't as strong on like the stiff leg deadlifts. Respectable, but not crazy strong. He wasn't a deadlift monster. And then he'd do like a preacher curl or an incline curl or something, or some laterals or upright rows. Right? And he's done. Maybe he'd do some hamstring curls to failure on a machine. But it would be about 6 sets. Right? Same thing, squatting. Would come in and do some squats. Maybe some leg presses, some leg extensions.
He would come in, he would just do some squats and some leg extensions. Lazy lifting, coming in, exercising, yes. Not even focused on trying to get this damage to come back. What a waste of time. I know so many people like that going to a gym. They just lazily lift things. Nothing going on there. There's no stimulating the muscles by... How do you stimulate muscles to grow? It's easy. They got to be damaged. Da.
You do deep squats for reps of 405. But yeah, it would be about 9 total sets. 8, 9 sets for the whole day for his lower body's legs on a Friday. And he would leave. I mean, after he did some bliss cardio. Guy was 200 plus pounds with a 6-pack year round in his 40s. But everything he did was to failure. Right?
I know. Everything he did was to fail. He failed at doing it. He did everything to failure because he wanted to fail.
Other than maybe the squats. But he'd rest pause those a little sometimes. All right? But he trained everything to failure.
Yeah, he trained it to failure, get it? That's his failing.
Everything. Every work set, he had to have a spotter help the last rep or he would just hit failure. And it worked. And I've seen other guys train like this. Like I know.
It worked. He failed.
Guys, multiple guys. I have known multiple guys who bench over 400. A couple who bench at least 500. Guys who squat 700, 800 pounds, who do a 3-day squat, bench, and deadlift program. Okay? I've met people in 2 countries who train this way, absolutely elite.
New features in the Weight Watchers app just dropped.
2 countries who train this way, Absolutely elite. And the funny thing, you know, you've got these guys who push this other crazy volumes, and I look back and I remember the local guy who didn't even compete. He was a nobody in bodybuilding because he didn't care about competing. He was like an engineer. He didn't care about any of that. He just wanted to be jacked and look good.
Yeah, he wanted to be jacked and look good. So the second thing in hypertrophy, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Yeah.
He had a better physique than all these guys who I see pushing the other. I mean, I look at Dr. Mike, and I'm not trying to hate. I mean, Dr. Mike is bigger than he was, but that.
No, load more of this glycogen. Let me explain to you. You can turn your muscles can turn you into a diabetic. Believe it or not. That's why I got scared after I did some of that on my old channel. I did some sarcoplasmic stuff. Remember, I did these videos and I tried to explain it, and I got really massive fast. Couple weeks, trained once a week, couple weeks, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and gained over 20 pounds easily in a 3-4 week period. All I did was lift once a week, and then the rest of the week I just glycogen loaded the whole week. And I built these sarcoplasmic muscles, and then I showed them. People thought I was on steroids. I started having a hard time at the gym where I was going. People were bothering me and everything. Next thing I know, poof, man. It's just like the new gym I went to now. People so jealous there. I know what's going on, bro. The guy was screaming at me that I was filming myself, posing in the windows last year when the gym was like between COVID just opening. A bunch of stuff, like I told you, it's for my YouTube channel. That's why I was posing in the boxing room. But then I started posing recently outside, just for my channel, there in front of the mirror, because there was better lighting. Okay, I could put my camera down. It would be set on the machine, the pull down machine. I could film myself. But you know, people, not the people at gym didn't give a shit what I was doing. It's like people like Big Trips and other people on here that give you shit for, why are you posing in the mirror there, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm posing for like a minute, 1 minute, sometimes half a minute to a minute. How is that going to destroy anybody or irritate anybody? What are you talking about?
Or you look at guys like Dr. Wolf. All these guys who were pushing some of these really high volumes, Brad Schoenfeld, he had a better physique than all.
Yeah, they're pushing high volumes. Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, like I just showed you. Listen to what he said.
Now, he looked way better.
Yeah, they pushed high volumes. Here's that high volume training. Here's that high volume for you. Schoenfeld and all of them pushing high volume. So what is high volume resistance training in trained young men largely attributed to? Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Yeah, man. And what is that exactly?
According to Nuvo Vivo, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is a kind of artificial muscle growth wherein muscles increase its size visually by increasing the amount of fluid it can hold, but is not increasing the density of the muscle's fibers.
Glycogen. So there you go. It can hold a lot of glycogen. Makes some muscles appear bigger. There's a bunch of fluid in there. Then they tell you the training for it, whatever. The types of muscle are likely to undergo hypertrophy during exercise, yada, yada, yada. Sarcoplasmic. I've never looked at these, really. How to trigger sarcoplasmic. Well, one way, fatigue training also, that's another way, too. High intensity and fatigue training, a bunch of stuff. So, yeah. It just means you're loading glycogen in there, that's all. You want to know how to trigger it? Eat 50-pound bag of potatoes every other week, and you'll gain it.
Doing 6 to 9 sets on a 3-day split, and then walking on a treadmill. I know a guy who benches 540 pounds. I've judged him in the...
I know a guy that bench presses 540 pounds who injects liquid strengthening and plant DNA to lift it because he's weakling. He's a domesticated human, so we all have to go to the gym and lift and undomesticate ourselves. But yet, the cycle continues because we can't stop eating fake food. That is the cause of everything.
I was a meat judge at an event. He did it. Guy benched 540 pounds.
Wow. Wow, he did, eh?
Raw.
Oh, yeah.
3-day push-pull leg split.
Sure.
So when people come up with this nonsense that you can't get jacked doing this, or just look at the way Dorian Yates trained.
You can get jacked, providing you do high intensity and load more glycogen in the muscles. Eat a lot of potatoes.
Right? You can't make nearly optimal gains training 3 days a week for an hour.
Wow.
It's been done over and over and over in the real world. I've seen
It has. Sarcoplasmic.
a dozen examples.
I can show you millions of examples. Never mind dozen.
Clients who do it.
So does NCBI. You have
All right,
clients.
guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today.
PubMed has clients. They've done it too.
I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.
It's been very informative. Super informative. Swinging this weight back and forth. Swinging, swinging, swinging. Ain't gonna do shit, man. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. But I know you won't, because people hate the truth. See you in the next one. Ciao. Nobody wants to learn anything real. They want to fake it to make it.